It's really about community more than anything, the project. We're run entirely by donations. They volunteer, they become a member. That's 5 hours to become members. The idea is to get people out on a bike and teach them how to work on their own bike. Actually, one day I went to a bike shop. I needed some basic bike repairs for an old bike. You know, and it was $80 later, and it's like, you did, you know, a half hour's worth of work and $80, and it's like, but wait, there's a local community bike shop where I can learn to do that myself, and then, you know, I can basically learn to work on my own bike and take care of my own, you know, responsibility. So it was one, it was for me, from a practical standpoint, it's cost saving, and two, it's just, I like doing things that are somewhat mechanically inclined, which is probably a product of my upbringing. My mom's from a very poor background, so, and my dad's from a working class town in Maine, but, you know, so you do what you can for yourself. I came in and said, you know, I've got this bike, it needs some work, and, you know, can you guys teach me? And I ended up making a lot of friends that way. I mean, it was a really cool community. There was a lot of people who were, you know, academics and people who worked around town, and they were just good people in general, wanting to help other people. The mission of the co-op is to actually, one, it's to promote cycling in the community, and it's to, you know, provide people an alternative form of transportation. People that, you know, in some of these lower socioeconomic groups, this is their only way to get to and from work. You know, they can't afford to go to the bike chain and pay them $120 to work on a bike, or pay them $10 to fix a flat. And, you know, we fix flats for free. You know, people will come in unsolicited, and because we're run entirely by donations, and what we can do to generate our own revenue. Sometimes donate bikes that we can't use. They're so in such bad condition that it's just not possible to rehab them. And in that case, we have to. We end up taking what parts are usable and putting them away, and then the rest of the bike ends up going to the scrapyard. It's really all about the volunteers. You know, some of them are students at Duke or UNC, and we actually get people from all over the Triangle coming to us. We want it to be a safe space for people to come into. We want people to feel comfortable regardless of, you know, race or creed, you know, or, you know, sexual orientation.
I love working on bikes, and I like the fact that we can take old bicycles and fix them up and recycle them, put them back out on the street, and put people on bikes. Making people happy, that's what I really enjoy. I like seeing someone come in here with a bike that's broken down, fix it up, get them back on the street, and see them go away happy. Sometimes that's all it's worth. You know, that's all it means to me, is to see someone happy.
There's a fellow by the name of Ira, and he's got 2 forms of cancer. He's been biking from southern Durham with a weed whacker.
I had a weed eater and a hedge trimmer strapped to the bicycle. I was on my way to do some work. And this fellow by the name of Frank Hyman stopped me and said, may I take your picture? I said, sure. He did an article for me in the Durham News, and the article was called Hell Bike Will Cut Grass. And then he said, what you gonna do about the bicycle? I said, well, there's one down at the co-op. I'm gonna get in touch with people and see what I gotta do to earn it. A guy who owns it named Hal, he called me and said he saw the article. And he asked me to do some landscaping work, which I did, and I earned this bicycle. Hal made sure I got my bicycle. And then this past weekend, I went back down into a new co-op where they moved to, did a little trim work for him, and he said, I'm now a preferred customer.
I mean, he came and he's never complained. He's been really great to work with, and he even calls us and says, you know, how can I help? Even now afterwards, I mean, that's, somebody like that is someone who, you know, deserves help. I don't do this because I want a pat on the back. I do this because it's something I care about. And it also gives me another sense of community. I mean, it's something that I think people need and should have.